Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Business South Carolina. We are up to episode number 63, if you're keeping score, and as always, I am your host, Rick Jenkins. It's time for our monthly industry outlook, and today we'll be talking about life sciences, the state's fastest growing economic sector with an estimated annual impact of $25.7 billion. To put that into perspective, South Carolina's tourism industry contributes $29 billion annually to the state's economy. Here to tell us what life sciences actually is and explain why it's growing at such a fast pace is James Chappell. He is the president and CEO at SCBIO. But before I get to James, I do want to thank our presenting partner, Haynesworth Sinclair Boyd, one of the premier legal firms in South Carolina. Founded more than 130 years ago, Haynesworth Sinclair Boyd now has 5 offices and more than 110 attorneys doing business across the Carolinas. The firm has a life sciences research legal team who regularly advise healthcare institutions and institutional review boards on a variety of operational and subject safety issues. This includes informed consent, privacy matters, study protocol, and contract review, as well as FDA reporting requirements. Do you need a science research attorney? Just scan the code on the screen. Thanks again to Haynesworth Sinclair Boyd for helping to make it possible to bring this content to the business community in South Carolina. And now, I'm joined by James Chappell, the president and CEO at SCBIO. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Man, it is good to have you. I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while, and I finally made it happen. I'm glad you're here, and I want to talk about all kinds of life sciences stuff because I got to be honest, I'm a little ignorant when it comes to a lot of the things associated with it, and I know some of our viewers and listeners will feel like they're in that same boat, so we're going to have a good conversation. But I mentioned just now in the intro how big life sciences is in the state of South Carolina. Humongous sector, fastest growing sector in South Carolina. As a matter of fact, it is the fastest life sciences sector in the Southeast, and you told me earlier in the nation?
It's one of the fastest in the nation. It was a national bio report that covers all 50 states that we're right around 5th or 6th when you look at all life sciences, and even faster if you look at the pharma industry.
Right.
And if you take away some states who have very little baseline, it's really even faster than that. So tremendous growth across all sectors.
Well, you've been here 4 years now, right, in this job with SCBIO. Are you taking the credit here for that?
I like to take a little bit. One of my downsides is Joey Van Nessen with USC. We had a report came out a couple of months after I started, and it showed you were the fastest in the Southeast. So I said, "That's great. Can we delay the report a couple of years because I can't take credit for any of it?"
Yeah.
But no, a lot of great stuff happened before me, and a lot of great stuff is happening still.
Let's talk about SCBIO. For those who aren't familiar, give us that elevator speech.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization. I think the most succinct way to put it is anything that can grow the life sciences, we do. So that's going to be things like workforce, policy, entrepreneurship, economic development, and then telling the South Carolina story, making sure people know what's happening. We're a membership organization. We have over 200 members. Most life sciences, big and small, are members of ours. Our research universities, a lot of our college, we partner closely with our economic development agencies, the state. So we really have a big tent, and then the service providers, law firms, architects, those who obviously benefit from having a more robust life science industry. So we have a fantastic mix of members, which is great for us because we use a lot of that knowledge and firepower to go find out what's next and what we should be doing as an organization.
I want to come back to your members in a second. I've got a few questions about that, but before we go anywhere, I probably should have started with this. Tell me what life sciences is.
That's a good question, and it's a broad umbrella. Anything really that touches human health is the way we sort of think about it, but it can be anything from med device, the biotech companies, there's something doing gene and cell therapy, your pharmaceutical companies, all the way over to agribusiness. We don't do as much in that area, but certainly bioag is in that big umbrella too. So really anything that impacts or is used to treat human health would probably fall under, from the tech side to the drugs. All of that falls under life sciences.
Got it. We talked about the impact of it at $26 billion annual economic impact to the state of South Carolina. I want to provide a little context for that, folks. I mean, one, I think most folks know we're a manufacturing state here in South Carolina. Manufacturing brings in about $200 billion a year to the state's economy. And second up, probably not a surprise to some, is agribusiness in the $52-53 billion range. And third, and this gives really good context to what is happening in the life sciences world, third is tourism at $29 billion, and then life sciences comes in at $26 billion, and it is on about a decade-long run right now, yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned, fastest growing industry, and that number is a little bit dated. We're actually going to do a new report, so we hope to see that number grow a little bit the next time we get that number as well. And yeah, we started late. It's certainly not something that has been a traditional focus of South Carolina, but it certainly has grown and continues to grow. And I think we're just getting started to, hopefully.
It's a hub. It's a growing hub in the Southeast, and I don't know how it happened. I can only imagine, James, that it took this huge effort in all different facets of your industry, and you're going to explain it. But logically, I just assume that you have to have a lot of educational organization backing. I would assume you have to have a lot of research involved. Workforce has got to be huge. What are all of those pieces? What are the pieces, and how do they come together to make something like this happen?
Yeah, I mean, you hit on most of them. Obviously, you have to start. I think the foundation is great universities, great research universities, and we're really lucky to have a lot. 3 great research universities. I always say NUSC is one of our most underrated assets when you look at where they fall with NIH research funding and where they rank as being a NCI cancer designated area. You have Clemson, that had one of the first bioengineering departments in the country, is fantastic in engineering and is doing world-class work in genetics. And USC, obviously right in the middle, our biggest university. And I think, their new leadership with Stephen Cutler and President Amritas and all had really put a focus on it and are doing great things in a lot of different areas when it comes to public health, some on the AI and digital side. And so that's where it starts. You also have to have great technical colleges, and we're really lucky, and I've learned that even more since I've been in this role, what a strong group that is. Because when people think about life sciences, they immediately go to the lab, and that's a lot of it, PhDs and postdocs, but there's a whole manufacturing side. You need certificates, 2-year degrees, and so we partnered really closely with our technical colleges who said, look, we can do that. We can create a certificate to get someone in the lab, to learn best practices to work in a manufacturing facility, provide manufacturing. So all of those pieces have to come together, and you have to be a great place to live. And that's something that we are really fortunate. And I think we all saw this speed up post-COVID where we had such big in-migration. I'm sure you know these stats, 3rd or 4th in in-migration, not even per capita, but total behind very big states. So one of our, we talk about at SCBIO life plus science. Come do the science here. If you like the ocean, come live in Charleston and work there. If you like the mountains, live in Greenville. You want to be in between, come to Columbia, go to Rock Hill if you want to be next to Charlotte. So I think we had a great foundation. And then I think there were people who said, let me go where I want to live, even sped it up further, and something that we're continuing to capitalize on, and I think we'll do even more so.
Let's go back to SCBIO for a second. Now, you talk about members. It's membership driven.
It is.
How does the funding for SCBIO work? How much of it comes through members, if that's how it works, or through grants and other funding?
The vast majority comes through members, and we have a lot of different membership levels because really we want to cater to everybody. We have some of the biggest companies in the world are our members. So in Eli Lilly and in Novo Nordisk are SCBIO members. Our 1 or 2 person startup is also a member. So we have a lot of different membership levels to cater to. If you're an early stage biotech or medical device company in South Carolina, we have membership rates all the way down to under $1,000. And then it goes up, and there's benefits that come with the different tiers of membership, including being part of our strategic advisory board, getting to talk about the priorities for the state, and go to different meetings and things like that. But we are almost entirely membership driven. We do have some partnerships with the state who help support a couple of specific programs of ours. But the vast majority is membership driven. So that's why That's our lifeblood, and that's ultimately who our customer is.
So members and life science companies, they got to have a place to live, right? They need a place to stay, and sometimes they need assistance with a place to stay, or maybe a place to go where they can be surrounded by other companies. And you have a couple of those locations. You have one in Charleston, I believe it's Blue Sky Labs, and you have one in Greenville, Main Street Labs. Do I have that right? Tell me about those locations.
So Blue Sky is an MUSC. Dr. Cole with his vision of the innovation district down in Charleston, which is very excited. That's the first piece of it. They took an old pharmacy building and said, let's put all our early stage companies in here, let them have lab space, let them have shared facilities. SCBIO has an office there. We have events there. So they can have natural mentors. They can find the person who can help them. They can find the person who can help them answer the question that maybe they've already faced a decade before. And it's the same thing at Main Street Labs. Unbelievable location, Kiatech being the anchor tenant there. Again, we have a space there right downtown Greenville. Couldn't be a better location. But let's bring all these people together with shared minds, with shared goals, and let them feed off of each other. Let people come really feel like they're part of the ecosystem. So we hope to do a lot more of that, but those two in Charleston and Greenville are the first examples of let's build the infrastructure to meet the growth and where we want to go to be an innovation hub. So let's build it to help these companies grow and to bring more companies in who want to be a part of this community.
There are a couple of other organizations, James, that you all work with that I want to ask you about. One of them is SCBIO. Tell me about those guys.
SCBIO is a great partnership of ours.
The Mass is Massachusetts.
The Mass is Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so they are the same organization as us, just in the Massachusetts area. As most people know, that is the pharma and biotech hub in the world, not the country, in the world. And we partnered with them early on a great procurement program is how we started that helps our life sciences companies get huge discounts, 50, 60% sometimes for their life science supplies. So huge capital savings. And the reason we get that is because they are, Thermo Fisher is the big organization. SCBIO is one of the largest Thermo Fisher customers in the world because of their ecosystem. And now we are. So we get to pass that on to our customers. That's where it started. And then they saw what was happening down here. They saw that we were where they were a couple decades ago. They saw what we were building. They saw the momentum. We got along with them well. And so now we partner with them on a whole lot of levels. And the most exciting is our accelerator program. SCBIO Drive is an accelerator. We partnered with them. They have SCBIO Drive. And we bring top companies from South Carolina, but also around the world to go through this accelerator program to prepare them on how to grow. And so we have partners like Eli Lilly runs the drug development section of this accelerator. Deloitte runs the commercialization. Maynard & Nexsen does IP and legal. K&L Gates does the regulatory side. Just an amazing, amazing group. And it's gotten eyeballs on us having that SCBIO brand to get us indoors that we just wouldn't have gotten. And the number of companies that are world-class are absolutely amazing. That partnership has really is just great. It's really opened up a lot of doors. And people say, well, if Massachusetts and SCBIO are paying attention to you, something must be going on there. So maybe we'll take another look too. And I can't tell you how many conversations that I've had or things I've been invited to and introductions that have made because of that relationship. It really helps legitimize us in a very fast way. So really exciting. And again, I think just the beginning of where this can go.
Obviously, lots of great stuff happening in the industry, but you got to have challenges, right? I mean, lots of folks have workforce challenges these days. I'm not sure if you all do, but we all do to some degree. What are the challenges in your world?
Well, in the positives, I've touched on some of them. Getting out there and making sure people know that it's happening here, to make sure people know it's not odd to move your company to South Carolina or frankly to stay in South Carolina. And we have to compete against, which is fantastic. And we love that it's happening because it's ultimately a benefit. But when you have the BMWs and Boeings and the Scout announcements, sometimes even internally, sometimes our local stakeholders, we have to say, look, this is really important. And it's not an or, to all of these things. It's an and I joke, it's easy too to stand in front of an F-16 or a BMW and everybody sees exactly like, oh, look what we did. Sometimes there's a little more nuance if you're talking about something that may take a decade to cure cancer. You're talking about something that you can't even really see. So that's a challenge in the state that we made a lot of progress and have great partners who are helping us do that, but we still have a ways to go there. And then outside, obviously, making sure people know this is a great place. And then we have some policy things that we need to clean up. We've been working really hard and have some good champions within the, some legislators, but our corporate franchise tax is really a hindrance to, and it doesn't fit with our business friendliness. We're such a business friendly state, but the corporate franchise tax is a real detriment to life science companies who can be pre-revenue for years and years and years, and they're being taxed on money that they're raising, on shares they're issuing on venture capital. I mean, we've had some companies who have been taxed, almost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 because they raised money, but they're not actually making any revenue. And I think we made a lot of progress there. I think we could get that fixed, but making sure that policy, and the same with incentives. Let's make sure that they're geared towards these more high tech jobs that aren't necessarily creating 1,000 jobs at once. Too, maybe they're only creating 10 or 20, but they're 6-figure, high paying jobs, and our industry averages almost $100,000 per job. So they're the kind of jobs you want. So how do we shift as a state quickly enough to make sure that while we have this window of opportunity, that we're really maximizing the number of jobs? And luckily, as you know, we have such a small and collaborative state that I can pick up the phone, and we work so closely with commerce and our universities, and I mentioned the technical colleges. So we're getting there. Some days you want to go a little bit faster, and that's part of the excitement as we get to shape this ecosystem, and we get to be the ecosystem for the next decade. We're not burdened by a lot of the infrastructure and just baggage that comes along with being overburdened right now. So we get to look to the future and build our ecosystem to be that next innovative hub. So it's an advantage to be a little bit of a late mover.
You're talking about looking to the future, so let's do just that, James. Let's look forward 10 years. And you talked about at some point down the road, you look back and you say, I remember when in terms of BMW, and we're going to look back in 10 years from now. What's it going to be like 10 years from now?
I think we're going to be exactly what we're striving to now. We're going to be a recognized innovation hub in a couple of areas where people are wanting to move here to flock to the research that's happening in our universities. I think we have a real opportunity in some unique areas. I think with, especially with MUSC's focus, I think we can be a huge player in the cancer space. They're doing amazing things down there, and I think we're just getting started on that. Same in neuroscience. With the investments that USC is making, that's another focus of MUSC's. I think that we can be a real recognized leader when it comes to neuroscience and brain health. Same on the bioengineering side with Clemson and bioabsorbables and biopolymers and the genetics things that they're doing over in Greenwood and with Trudy McKay, world-class things that no one has ever done. I think that that's going to continue to grow. And I think that we will make the right investments on what we're talking about. One thing we didn't even talk about is this tech bio space, that most drugs are now going to be discovered on a computer. With AI, machine learning, quantum, we have real momentum on that, investments we're making, the state companies that we're talking to about coming here. And again, that's where we have an advantage. As a newer state, we can build towards that, knowing that this computer aspect is going to be such a big focus and such a big need. We can build to the labs and the infrastructure for the future. So I think that's what you're going to see. I think that we'll be still a fast-growing industry. I think we'll be a recognized hub in at least a few of these areas that I mentioned. And I think one of those will be on that tech bio compute side as well, where people say, wow, when did that happen? They made a lot of investments, and where other people are still kind of struggling with some of the current climate on where they need to go, we get to focus on the future and we'll be that new hub. So absolutely, I think we'll be in the same breadth as these national hubs that people think of.
James, great stuff. I'm going to get you out of here on this. You all have a big conference coming up, I believe, in February next year. I believe it'll be held down in the Low Country.
It is.
If people attend that conference, what will they hear? What will they see?
It is such a good conference, and I can't take credit for that because it was good before I got here. Our team does such a great job. We typically have about 500 people, and it's going to be in Charleston, February the 18th. And it really caters to everybody. We have breakout sessions that if you're interested in the economic development side of life sciences, we've got that. If it's more of the science, we've got that. If it's more of the future about the tech bio, high performance computing, we have that. We have it for early stage companies where they're going to be talking about how do you grow a company? How do you navigate raising capital? So really excited about the program that we have. It's big enough that everyone is there. We have a lot of people come from out of state, but it's small enough that there's still a lot of great discussions, and it's really a fantastic conference. So if anybody's interested, we'd love to have them down in Charleston in February.
James, good stuff.
Thank you.
Folks, that is James Chappell. James is the CEO at SCBIO. And now, folks, you know everything about life sciences that you didn't before you watch this. I know I learned a whole lot, and I appreciate you joining us. Before we go, though, I do want to give a shout out one more time to our presenting partner today, and that's Hainsworth Sinclair Boyd. I believe they are a member of SCBIO, and we couldn't have done this show without those guys over there, and so we appreciate them. They're one of the premier legal firms in South Carolina. Folks, thanks for joining us on another episode of Let's Talk Business South Carolina. We'll see you next time.